Live. You look very relaxed tonight, Jack.
I am. Thank you.
Have you had a good weekend?
I am. Yeah, I'm having a great weekend. Just taking it easy, and got up and got ready for church this morning. But Abby had a tummy ache. We went out yesterday. There was she was feeling a little better. So.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. I'm really pleased. I'm sorry that she was feeling a bit not so good. I mean, it's a difficult age because they want to go to these things, but it is all geared for little kids, primary school kids.
Right.
There's a food fair near us next weekend, Wink is just saying. I'm going to say hi to a few people. Sorry that the stream stopped. There was some issue. So we have got on board tonight. Hi, Robin. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Sika. Hi, Madge. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Vanessa. It's still a bit pantaloons. Sorry for that. But there was some problem with Ecamm where it stopped streaming, but it's resumed now. So I'm hoping we can go ahead. Hi, Sandy. How are you all doing? Everyone's saying hi to you as well, Jack.
That's nice. Hello, everyone.
Yay. How are you all getting on this week? Let us know how you're getting on. I don't know if you remember a lady called Lynn Jones that had lots of aching in her joints and everything. She was a lady that you spoke to, a guest on the show quite some time ago. Well, she kind of sent me a message and was just like, oh, I'm just absolutely need to lose some weight. She's feeling much better with all her joints and everything. And she decided to go the whole hog, not the right expression, but go plant-based, whole food eating. And in 2 weeks, she sent me a message saying that she'd lost, this is all in centimetres, so I'm sorry, guys, but she's just absolutely thrilled. She's lost 9 centimetres from her waist, which will be probably about 3 inches, thereabouts.
No.
What?
No, it'd be more like 4 inches.
4 inches, Wink is saying. 5 centimetres from her hips, which is 2 inches. 2 centimetres from her thighs, which is almost an inch. And 2 centimetres, almost an inch from both of her calves. And I've just got this woo at the end of the message. So she's sort of gone all in and is feeling really, really good. So that's really fantastic. So that's really, really good. How are you guys getting on? Dr. G is in the dark. He is not in the Barndo because he's having some work done in the Barndo. So he's in his back lounge, aren't you? Snug out of the way.
It's all
front
covered
lounge.
with plastic and drop cloths. It's being we're getting sheetrock repair done. We had shifting in there and foundation repair, and so we've had all the doors adjusted now, and the sheetrock repair has been done, and so the drop cloth and plastics all over everything, so the painting can be done next. And they were supposed to have been done by now, but they're not, and that's not terribly unusual with contractors. They tend to be a little bit optimistic as to their completion dates, but anyway, everything's coming along nicely. But no, I'm not in my regular area. That's why it's a little bit darker. It's just I don't have as much lighting in here. This is kind of a back bedroom area that we use for a television room. I think our couches match, though, for some strange reason. I think we both are sitting on a brown leather, nicely worn, comfortable couch, though.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Matching. All you need is your blue wig now, and then we'll be like hot to trot.
There you go.
Madge, Dr. Gilmore isn't streaming on his channel. He's just on this channel on Skype with me, so that's why you can't find him. Beverly is saying my HGA1C labs normal now. My liver labs normal, and the scan shows no more fatty liver. OMG, unbelievable. Beverly, you are a trailblazer. Isn't that brilliant?
Well, that's what we expect. I mean, that should be what we expect now. It shouldn't be surprising anymore because we realize that it's the animal proteins and fats that are causing those problems in the first place.
Yeah.
If we make the conscious decision to stop eating the wrong things, then those problems go away. So the hemoglobin A1C is a measure of your insulin resistance. And if it's dropped below 5.8, 5.7, 5.6, then you're no longer diabetic or pre-diabetic. If you stop eating animal products, then your fatty liver problem will go away, especially if you've also stopped drinking high fructose corn syrup drinks. And you should also expect that your liver enzymes will improve. So all of those things, as well as your cholesterol and triglycerides, all of those things should improve dramatically if you'll stop poisoning your body with animal products.
There you go. See?
We should expect that as normal.
That is brilliant. But it must be really great, Beverly, to go and get those labs done and find that there's a dramatic improvement and like proof in front of your doctor that, you know, the work that you've done, the changes that you've made are literally, you have the black and white proof in front of your eyes. Rather than how you feel, you've actually got something tangible in your hands to prove that it's been worthwhile. And that it should be a great motivator for all you who are all on your journey too. So that's absolutely fantastic. Lynn is saying, my rheumatologist is really impressed with my progress. For the first time in 9 years, I can reduce some of my medication. And I told him it's because of you, all the change to plant-based diet. Woohoo!
Wonderful.
See? That's really brilliant. Congratulations to both of you. That's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, they're all feeling the love, which is great. Are you remodeling? Leanne is asking. Are you remodeling? No. Just decorating?
No, just fixing, just repairing. Again, we had foundation problems with that concrete foundation on the barn and the barn dominium, and we had that repaired. But when you have, slab that sinks and then gets raised back up, things happen like the doors all have to be reset. The sheetrock all cracks and the taping floating and all that comes loose, and you end up with fissures and cracks. And although the underlying problem has now been fixed, we have to go back in and fix all the cosmetic defects. So that's what we're doing now. That's almost all fixed now. So this is the last step. We had the flooring we had to do, and then areas where the tile was pulled away from the bathtub and then pushed back in it's just all needed to be fixed. And we have people taking care of it.
Oh, that's really, it's good. Yep. It's nice. I mean, we've been fixing a few things today. In fact, I've just been chopping a load of logs that we were given. And this gardener, this was about a year and a bit ago, I just cleared every weed and everything and completely made our front driveway look like as good as it's ever going to look. And it was just like, it's just brilliant to have all that rubbish removed, all the weeds, and I'd cut the hedge and it was all swept and lovely. The next day I came home from work and this gardener who we'd got to cut some of our trees down, he lives in the village, he'd been cutting down like a tree, but one of those trees that has lots of bits about that thick, like about 2 meters, about 5 feet long. And he decided that this would be really good for kindling for us. He just dumped this whole tree of tiny, some of them were only like that, and we had a few that were part of a bough. But anyway, I've been with the chop saw all afternoon chopping it all down, and we've finally got rid of it all. Absolutely everything is in the log shed, so I'm just so pleased. And I walked in the door thinking, right, time for a cup of tea, and I looked at the clock and it was like 8:25, and I'm like, quickly, get the lights out, run around, open the laptop. Whizzy wheel. So I got totally carried away with these late nights with the daylight. It's still totally tricking me as to what the actual time is. But it was really good to get that job done. We fixed a few things and, I planted all my seeds, so I'm so excited. Toasty in there and lovely, and so it's just like a really nice environment because we had a really hard frost last night. In fact, we were both really cold in bed last night, which is the first time for like months we can remember feeling cold. It was a real cold cold snap. So, oh, Jackie, it wasn't like a tree. It was like one of those things that's just really a weed that grows in a hedgerow and then like grows 10 times quicker than the hedge. But it wasn't an actual tree. It was just one of those kind of shrubs that gets out of control. So he didn't cut a tree down, so you don't need to be sad about that. Just really boughs from it, really. Well, just one of those that kind of does that and just like goes on upwards, so don't worry. So anyone got any plant-based whole food questions for us? Anyone struggling? Anyone had any more successes? Anyone tried my cheese that Alicia made? I know somebody's made the cheese actually and said they really liked it, which is really good. So questions in capitals, let us know. That would be really good. And if you could give this a thumbs up, that would be really great because it helps the video to go through so that we attract more people looking for health tips. So have you got anything that anything you want to say, Jack? Any bits and bobs?
Nope, just here to be supportive and answer questions about whole food plant-based eating, anything that I can do to help.
Okie dokes.
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's it. There's just a lot of stuff going on in my clinic. Super busy, big transitions coming up. We're working through all kinds of things. We're about to introduce an electronic record system, so it's been occupying a lot of our time, and just all that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah. It's like I've seen quite a lot. You've put loads of videos up in the last few days. They've been kind of dinging through to my little notifications. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. That's really helped.
Yeah, we tried to. I'm trying to broaden out what we're doing. People don't seem to like the Meta 7 advertisements, and of course, that's the only way we make any money on our videos. So what I'm doing now is I'm focusing on more of the storylines that I think are fascinating. That to me are is what medicine really is. I'm not a limited doctor. I don't just do skin or just do toenails or just do operate on toes or squeeze pimples all day. You'd be the best in the world, right?
Yeah.
But that each one of those areas only makes up a very small part of my practice. So what I'm focusing on is giving people an opportunity to see just what it means to have what I think is probably one of the most difficult medical practice types, being a specialist in family medicine. And so giving people an opportunity to see what it's like to have a patient come in with multiple problems and not have the luxury to say, oh, sorry, I'm just a neurologist. I can't help you with your psychiatric problems. I can't help you with your urological problems. I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's not my area. Because that's really what happens, at least in medicine in our area. When they come in, they don't have one problem. They have multiple problems. And if they do see a limited doctor, then they're not able to get that help. But we try to help them in all those areas. So it's very, very challenging. And unfortunately, it's not as visually stimulating. And so obviously, this is a medium that is designed for visual stuff that you can see that happens. You can't see what happens when I treat somebody for their depression and anxiety. We really do change lives and help people, but it's not as interesting. Just like these videos here, which are extremely important because you're through your work and dedication, you're changing lives. And you watch a certain dermatologist who has a TV show, and she does videos, and she says that she's changing lives. Well, I say horse shit. She's not changing lives. She's tickling people's eyesight. You get somebody who you can change their lives by getting them to eat right and change their activity level. You can cure their diabetes. You can cure their heart disease. You really are saving lives. Mm-hmm. That other stuff is just for fun, and let's remember that. So we're focusing on more of really what it is that we do that actually is life changing, but yet is not going to be blacklisted on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm putting up more videos, stories, and interesting anecdotes about what we're doing, and letting people get an opportunity to meet patients who want to share their stories.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a different approach, but it will allow us in the future to, to get more out there what people should expect. I'm having a lot of trouble with millennials. They don't seem to understand that they're just children. They don't know how to behave in the doctor's office. They think that they should come in and try to make demands. I'm hearing about doctors all over the place that millennials are going into these primary care offices and they're making demands, and if they don't get what they want, then they file complaints with the state medical boards. I just heard something. I believe it was Dr. Mike, who out of nowhere apparently is a very handsome single bachelor physician with 2 to 3 million subscribers, and he talks about a lot of things, some of which I don't agree with everything, but he's a young guy, and that's fine, and he's entitled to do what he wants to do. But he apparently just had somebody filed a complaint with his state medical board because he didn't give them the pain pills that they demanded. So I'm really very interested in getting the message out there that that's not how medicine works. It's not walking into your doctor's office is not an opportunity for you to lay out on the table, I paid my $20 copay, now this is what you're going to give me. That's not how it works.
No.
What you're paying for is a consultation. You don't get to walk in and demand a cherry Slurpee and a hot dog and expect that that's what you get. That's not how it works.
No.
So I'm hoping to get those messages out there. But just like these videos, they're not as interesting. So I can do a video where I do something visually interesting, which has almost no bearing whatsoever on somebody's health. Maybe it is for comfort. For example, removing a small cyst, which has absolutely zero bearing on somebody's real health. Okay, let's just face it. Not like your situation where you had a terrible infection. I'm talking about just a general small cyst.
Yeah.
And it'll get and it may get 500,000 views. But if I spend time discussing with somebody how to change their life, how to eat right, what medications to take, what to avoid with certain medications, why they're taking their medications, what supplements are important, what to do with your diabetes, how to beat diabetes, and all those things. We'll be lucky if we get 1,500 views on it, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 views. But nobody's interested in what will really save their lives. Yeah. So I find it very frustrating to listen to certain popular dermatologist who wants to say that what she's doing is changing lives, and again, I say horseshit to that. That's not what it is. What it is nothing more than something very entertaining.
Yeah.
And years ago, there used to be a surgery channel. Back in the 90s, there was a whole television station channel that you could watch surgical procedures, and it failed. Obviously, that failed because people didn't want to see that kind of stuff. So I think that in the long run, the kind of videos that we're making, and they're going to, people move on, I think is what it is. And I think we have new groups coming in. But for example, like I'm not broadcasting this particular video on my vignettes channel because every time we do a video, I lose more subscribers. It just goes down, down, down. People aren't interested in this. And I'm not saying there aren't some people interested in, but I'm saying that the vast majority of people just simply aren't interested. They've subscribed to that channel. They click on it and say, what's this stuff? I don't want to hear about how to be healthy. I don't want to hear about, man, I'm going keto. Boom, unsubscribe, move on,
Yeah, no, totally get that. You need to do what your audience is up to.
Right.
Robin was saying that the young man with the lung issues, she found that it was amazing. So I think they're loving your channel. Well, they love your channel anyway. I've got a few comments here, a few people to say hello to. Laurie is on. Hi, Laurie. Leanne has made the almond milk. Yay! Because I did a nut milk video as well with Alethea. I must say it in the correct way. And Leanne added the pulp to her banana nut bread. Excellent. I bet that was yummy. Sandy made the cheese and the nut milk and enjoyed them both. Seeker wants to know if it can be canned to save it longer. You've got a canning facility? Goodness me, I didn't know you could can things in your own home. I don't know, make a smaller quantity, I would suggest. I'm pretty sure you can probably freeze it. Try freezing a bit and see what happens, because you can freeze normal cheese. Try that.
They call it canning, but it's actually a jar.
Oh, right.
Lid. Okay, but they call it canning. So when people say they're putting up peaches for the winter, it's a kind of canning, but it is. They use those Ball, I think, is one brand, but they have metal lids with and so forth. And you have to boil stuff, and
right. Okay.
It's like the way people make homemade jams and jellies.
Right. Okay. Well,
I think the process is called canning.
Right. Okay. We calling it. They're called preserving jars here, and they're like they've got a kind of a clip which goes down with a rubber seal that goes around it, and you can do all sorts of things. I don't know. I would be surprised if the cheese actually lasts long enough for you to want to can it, actually, because it's lovely, fresh, whole food, virtually raw product. So I would say you can melt it into nut milks and make cheese sauce with it as well. So I would get on with the business of eating it, but I don't know about canning. I will ask Alicia though and see what she says. Madge, hi Debs. Madge, she added peanut butter into the same blender as making the nut milk, and with oats and peanut butter. Nom nom nom. You don't need to soak. You don't need to soak hemp seeds or oats when you make nut milk. You just whiz it all up. Hi Wonder Woman, darling, how you doing?
How you feeling?
Good. Laurie.
You should try some Pepto-Bismol. It might help you.
Pepto-Bismol.
Okay.
Hi Abby.
Hello.
How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, we're doing very well at this end. Enjoying watching your channel.
Thank you.
There you go. Oh, and congratulations on the Star Academy, you little superstar.
Well, I'm excited.
Yee. When do you start? Is it September?
I start, well, we have different seasons for school here than y'all, so we start in August.
In August?
Yeah.
Wow. I suppose you have hot weather way before us, don't you?
Yeah, but it's not like freezing cold. It's great. It's not over hot. It's not too.
Oh, that's fantastic. Really well done. I know you've made your mum and dad very, very proud.
I have, haven't I?
Mm-hmm. Of course you have.
And yourself, of course.
Thank you.
She worked very hard, so she deserves it.
Everyone's saying congratulations and awesome to you, Abby. Beverly watches all your videos, Jack. She loves your videos.
I'll tell her I said thank you.
Yee. Deb says hello. Jackie likes hearing positive things. When she hears people are well, it makes her feel so happy. That's excellent. There's loads of proof here for you, Jackie, because I know you're not fully on board. I don't think you're fully on board with the plant-based, but honestly, try it out, babes. Really. Sandy is saying, this is true, Doctor. Even when I speak to people about plant-based eating and about the benefits, they don't seem to get it. I just say try it for a couple of weeks and see. It is difficult. People have got to get to a watershed moment. They've got to get to a position, which is where the lovely Lynn Jones got to, where she just thought, I've completely had enough now. I've had enough. And they kind of grasp the nettle and just go, right, I'm just doing this. And it becomes the main focus of what they do. And
That's
then
what I did.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You can't go, oh yeah, I really ought to do that. That would be really good. Yeah, I should do that. You've got to be just like a rocket up your backside, and you just go, I am doing this. Nothing is getting in my way. Right, get rid of that. Get this. What do I need? And you just go hell for leather for it, and then you become so self-motivated that you actually start doing it. And people need to get to that point that, just a little tickle under the chin doesn't get them going. Either that, or they need kind of cataclysmic health kind of situation.
And unfortunately, that's usually what happens. Usually they get sick, or they find out they're sick. Then they come running for help, and then it's like, well, okay, here's what you do, and we can reverse maybe some of this, maybe all of it. We don't know, but I mean, I didn't know that my lungs were going to be healed if I stopped eating animal products. I never expected that to happen, but it did. So it continues to surprise me how effective it can be as a method of getting healthy for lots of things.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, we should open a clinic to get rid of diabetes. Yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't sound very excited about that, Jack.
Well, I mean, let's get a grant. Let's get a grant from the British Institute of Health for $5 million, and we'll open up a clinic. How's that sound? Who do I send the letter to? Is it Theresa May still, or has she been replaced? I don't know.
Do you know what? I haven't. I literally don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on with that or Brexit or anything. I literally, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's what the news has turned into here. Now that they can't, poor Donald Trump. He endured 2 years of this political hunt that he had conspired with the Russians or colluded with them to get elected, right? And it's been all the news for 2 years, and then they finally released the final report, and there's no collusion, and so it's sort of like they don't know what to put on the news anymore because that's all they've done for 2 years.
Oops.
Just like, well,
big boo-boo.
Yeah, but I guess we were wrong. Okay, moving on.
Moving on to and a fireman saved a cat from a tree today.
Game of Thrones is restarting. I think this is the last season. I haven't seen any of it. Everybody says wait until it's over to start watching it, but maybe that'll be interesting enough for people.
It's not too appropriate.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of it.
Thrones, Game of Thrones, did you say?
Yeah, I think it restarts tonight, doesn't it?
Oh, that's not my bag at all. Wink and I we made ourselves watch 2 episodes of it because everyone just keeps on wow,
I know,
how brilliant
right?
it is. And we were just like, cannot bear it. Let's just write 2 episodes. We're not mildly interested. Let's just do something more exciting with our lives. So that's
exactly. So I think probably once it's all over, I may check it out from the beginning. If I'm going to watch a series like that, I like to watch it all the way through and just sort of enjoy it that way, as opposed to waiting a year for the next episode. I find that really frustrating.
I hate that. I'm a part of. I'm really into the nerd culture stuff. So he's like, I'm talking, and he's like. I'll be like, I can't wait for another season, and then I'll complain about shows who are getting a re-release and they had a good ending, and he's like, I'm sorry. But I'm part of the anime fandom thing, but there's a seasonal thing where every season there's another 100 shows that everyone's watching.
Yeah, that's true.
So my friends dislike the fact that I hop seasonal. But when I watch it, I keep talking, and I've started reading manga instead now because that's way easier because you get to see the ending. But when you watch shows like that every season, and it's 2 years until you get the show, and there's only 2-3 good shows every season out of the hundreds, you have to really search. So then when they give a good show and they leave it on a cliffhanger, no game, no life, it stinks because you're sitting here 2012 to 2019, and here you are, no season.
Let's get back to our health and nutrition discussion.
That's true. And I think going back to what Sandy said about asking people just to try it, and the thing is, I read a post today on the UK vegan group on Facebook today, with somebody saying, you know, she was going away and she wanted to lose some weight and what to do and should I do this and that. So there's like about 500 comments on it so far. But actually the conversation's kind of merged into, you know, my doctor was pleased with my results and asked me what I'm doing, and I've said I've changed my diet and it's kind of plant-based and, you know, and I'm eating whole foods. And she said, oh, that's really good. So what else are you eating? And she's like, well, I've gone vegan. And the doctor was just like, oh, I don't approve of that kind of diet. You know, going on a vegan diet like it's a fad diet is very dangerous for you. And, you know, I'm absolutely not supporting this. And the person just went, oh, I just let the doctor go, blah, 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 blah. I'm not changing my eating habits for anyone. And then there was a whole score of replies to that about the fact that doctors don't have the nutritional training, which is what we've said. And in the UK, they said, I reckon they get 4 hours on nutrition. And, you know, then there's loads of, why don't you send your doctor this so she can educate herself? You know, and I think, if people actually do have, you know, like my friend's doing, you know, has become a vegan and she's got more healthy. What do you think, doctor? I think they're very often kind of 9 times out of 10 going to get, oh, that's a bit extreme, you know, blah, blah. And in fact, there was, oh, it's in the kitchen. But Wink went to his parents yesterday.
I would reply to that. Well, aren't we in the middle of an epidemic of obesity and diabetes and heart disease? I mean, don't you think we need an extreme solution, doctor?
Yeah.
I would just turn that right around. I would just say, don't you think? Because obviously, what you doctors are doing isn't working, is it, doctor?
Mm.
That's how I would reply to that. I would be very polite, and I would just say, well, what you doctors and healthcare organizations are suggesting we do isn't working, is it? Aren't we in the midst of a terrible epidemic of obesity and diabetes and heart disease and cancer and autoimmune diseases? Aren't these all on the rise, doctor? Isn't that what you're advocating? What I'm advocating is extreme, but don't you think something extreme is what's needed?
Yeah, that's a really good reply.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why it is that why we feel that okay, well, obviously for me, I am a physician and I have been for a long time, so for me, talking to other doctors, I talk to them just like we're school chums. I really don't care what they think. But I think that you all should have, you know, you should have, especially everybody in this group, should have enough knowledge now to where if you're challenged by your physician with that kind of attitude, you would say, you know what, you're wrong. And what you're advocating is causing the problem. Yeah. And when you finally get your act together and you come up with a solution for the epidemics that are destroying the health of Britons and Australians and New Zealanders and Canadians and Americans, when you come up with something that really works, let us know. In the meantime, what we're doing, though extreme to you, does actually work.
Yeah.
And then let's see what they have to say to that. Because let me tell you what their response is. Well, I don't see how it can be safe. They don't understand it because they don't have the education. But you guys do.
Yeah. Yeah,
everybody,
we do.
Everybody that's in this group does.
Yeah.
There should be nobody in this group that should be intimidated by a physician whose nutritional ignorance is preventing them from understanding how much healthier our lifestyle has become because we've adopted a whole food plant-based diet.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And it was amazing how many like scores and scores of messages. I mean, it kept blipping up all day today with people saying exactly that. And, you know, and I think, you know, for somebody that's hears something from word of mouth from a friend and then checks it out with their doctor, the likelihood is it'll be squashed down. In fact, Wink, yeah. You know that supplement that you bought back that your mum gave you yesterday for me? Will you bring it in, please?
Is it a protein
It's
supplement?
In the kitchen. So Wink went to see his mum yesterday, and she specially, because, you know...
I got it out.
Oh, right. Oh, Wink got it out, basically, because it's headed up, you know, tackling diabetes or curing diabetes. It's in there, darling. It's in the kitchen.
I'm in the kitchen.
Well, it's on the side somewhere. Maybe it's on the table in the lounge. So while Wink's finding that, is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the front of it. Everybody don't get upset. There's a big juicy steak there.
No,
So
that's
this is the Wink. Go away. You're so naughty.
Oh, that's how you beat diabetes.
Yeah, the delicious way to beat diabetes. And I thought the picture on the front was going to be talking about how it's eating of this steak that causes the issue. So then inside, so then I. So it's this guy. The guy in here is he's got together with a GP. And 7 steps to eating fewer carbs. But
lies, and more lies.
I know, it's absolutely unbelievable.
That article should be how to hide your diabetes. The delicious way to hide your diabetes is what it is. Because that actually worsens the diabetes but doesn't manifest it. So you can cut your carbs and eat more meat, but it worsens your insulin resistance, but it doesn't show up until you actually do consume a carb.
Yeah.
So you actually make the disease worse, but it doesn't show up on the A1C, as long as you take your medications and everything else.
Yeah.
Now, if you go the other way, then you can eat healthy, and your body's resistance to insulin will disappear, and you'll be able to do what your body's designed to do, and that is to handle those carbohydrates. You're supposed to eat carbohydrates. That's what we need for energy, not high-calorie protein, high-fat, cholesterol increasing, heart disease inducing, autoimmune disease causing, and diabetes worsening meats.
No. It's unbelievable. Products. Look at the giant title, How the Food I Love Saved My Life. And then it talks about, some of the things like eliminate processed sugars, refined sugars, and starchy carbohydrate foods, breakfast cereals, bread, pasta, white potatoes, couscous crackers, but then it goes oats and oat cakes, biscuits, fizzy drinks, chocolate, cordials.
So basically all you eat is animal products, right? All that's left are animal products, it sounds to me like.
Yeah, and then it goes, load up with vegetables at each meal, so that's great. And then it goes, eat good fats, include oily fish, straight in, cheese, but only in moderation. They're really nutritious, but they're also highly calorific. So the reason they're asking them to avoid the cheese is to do with the being overweight. Opt for fruit that's naturally low in sugar, and then it talks about other things like that. And then it talks about what's in your carbs. And so it looks initially good because look, there's loads of I wish I could do this the right way. Loads of vegetables. And then it goes into recipes. Look, it's just like that's meat, kebabs, and
that's
stuff.
What everybody eats.
Yeah, that's
what everybody eats. I mean, how does that save any lives?
Cheesy pies.
Eating.
It's just ridiculous. Cheesy pies, pizza, chicken salad. Chicken.
Keep eating what you're eating, and you're going to get better. That's what's going to happen. Keep doing the same stupid thing that you're doing, and you're going to get well. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Then we've got the steak that's on the front paper. Look at that. Look at this. This is.
Yeah, sure. Oh, it looks healthy to me,
right? Loaded aubergine. It's like, come on, that is a heart attack food. More chicken, the biggest blimmin', cholesterol builder on the animal planet.
Greatest contributor to cholesterol in the American diet is chicken. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Cream filled.
Boy, I tell you what, that must be healthy if it's in a magazine.
Roulade. Honestly, and this is from a news. People with diabetes are going to read that in this country. This is from the Daily Mail.
Yep.
This is just proof. I mean, I'm going to say this actually. I don't know if I've said it online, but I actually.
So somewhere in the back of that does the guy have a book for sale? Does he have a guide for sale?
Oh, hang on. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. There's a free pull-out recipe.
Right.
Look, I'm just...
And it's probably
Turkish
sponsored.
eggs! Goodness me! Eggs!
Yeah, and you know, all of that information was put together probably by some British equivalent of the Food and Drug Administration or the U.S. U.S. Department of Agriculture, which will help build these kinds of articles. It's misinformation that's designed to look like all of that stuff is healthy when in fact it's simply not.
It basically, there isn't anything about a book. But here we go. Next week's exciting How to Beat Diabetes Pull-Out magazine. What have we got there? Ground beef with blimmin' pasta. Probably egg pasta and a load of flour. Oh, and a cake.
Oh, yeah, that's really healthy.
Just literally keep doing that and you'll... it's just like, honestly... And you know, the Daily Mail is one of the top-selling newspapers in the UK, and it's just like...
not only that, I believe the Daily Mail is the largest news organization in the English language worldwide.
Oh, it might be. It's also got the biggest online readership of all the newspapers.
Yeah, they in the past have asked me to use my videos because they want to, you know, use the sensationalism of some of my videos for their articles, and I've allowed them once or twice, but then no more because they couldn't get information correct about me. But nonetheless, they are huge, and when they say something, people do believe it. And unfortunately, they're misdirecting a lot of people. But you can bet there's a significant financial incentive for them to do that. They're getting paid for that. That was put together with money that's probably government money or private foundational money.
The dairy industry,
and
the meat
somewhere
industry.
along the line, you know, there's this quote unquote research is being paid for, you know, through these either these animal-based groups, the foundations like the egg group, the dairy group, the beef group, the poultry group, etc., or it's government or it's combination.
Yeah, totally. I actually, and I have got some questions for you, which I will come to, I promise you, my lovelies. I actually watched the documentary What the Health, which I know you've recommended that I do. And I kept trying to watch Forks Over Knives late at night, you know, and I kept like waking up and it had finished. It's not on YouTube anymore, so it's on Netflix, so I'm going to watch it on that. So I thought, suggested for me because I'd searched for Forks Over Knife full movie. So I thought, right, let me watch that one. Well, ladies, it was this is 4:00 in the morning. I thought I'll just watch a bit of this and then I'll go to sleep. Well, it was so compelling and so enthralling that I watched the full 90 minutes of it and watched the sun come up through the curtains. It was just incredible. I learned so much, and I know literally it's all there. The medical studies, the doctors, the talk about, like somebody has said, I thought we were asked to eat chicken rather than red meat. Yes, we were, because that bit of information is researched for by the poultry industry. They have a vested interest in you eating more chicken. And although all the research is based in the United States and all the all the stats are from the United States. Now I know a lot of you are, but we've also got some people from the UK and Canada watching, and sometimes New Zealand. This is the pattern that the Western diet is. It's the same pattern in the UK. Slam in the lamb. Beef is great. What chicken? Have a chicken tonight. All that business. The egg industry, all of these things it all goes around. And there was a lot of talk about, it literally goes into all the studies that are founded. But it's not all technical. It's really entertaining and it is literally mind blowing. So if any of you lovelies have not watched this video, I absolutely implore you to watch it. I was just astounded. and it's not like propaganda, like oh, it was just fascinating, from every angle. Lots of, what Dr. Gilmore says here is all in there, and there are facts and figures and images and, consultations and interviews with numerous surgeons and doctors. So please do watch that. Tell me who's going to watch it.
There's a new one called Diet Fiction.
Oh.
Diet Fiction.
Really recommend Diet Fiction. It's one of the newer documentaries that has been out a few months now. And if you get into Forks Over Knives and you start watching some of these, add that onto your list because you'll really enjoy it. It's very well done.
Yeah.
Me and you used to think that vegans were stupid. We used to make fun of them all the time. Whenever we went out to steak and stuff, we'd make fun of them.
Yeah.
No, I remember that.
At Super Yummy,
no, I don't think
I could never go vegan.
I think she's having inventing memories here.
No, I remember this clearly. You did this one time. We were at a steak place.
I don't recall any of this. Okay,
right.
Move on.
Okay, so Lynn is saying, I'm all the proof you need to know that it works. And if someone wants to question that, I will ask them, what else has improved my health? Because the years of medication hasn't. Good one,
medicine
Lynn.
Doesn't work. Medicine does not work.
Yeah, medicine just treats the symptoms. It doesn't get rid of anything. And right, okay. Cheerio, Karen. Right, can't stand. Okay, I don't know who you're talking about. Turmeric is great for inflammation. Turmeric is great. Just Google the benefits of turmeric or turmeric. Okay, Jackie, and you'll find that. Right, this is from Laurie Bailey. Dr. Gilmore, I need some hope for my non-displaced fracture of my greater tuberosity. Is that a bone?
It's a part of a bone. Greater tuberosity of the hip, of the femur.
Give us some more information on that, Laurie. Right, Debs is saying, Dr. G, my sleep doctor was pleased with my blood results as well as us being vegan. He's very pleased with us taking Meta 7.
Wonderful.
So a positive result from her doctor and an improvement, with her narcolepsy, which is just fantastic.
There are some good ones out there. There's some good docs out there.
Yeah.
They're not all bad, but the vast majority simply just don't understand.
Yeah.
And
they don't know.
Yeah. And if they did, they would probably begin to make those lifestyle changes themselves. And most of them are on cholesterol medicine, blood pressure medicine. Most of them are worried about getting diabetes, and most of them don't have a clue that they can actually reverse this themselves. Because if they did, they would tell their patients. Most of them, they just don't know. And there's it's one thing, everybody's ignorant until they learn. Until you learn the first time, we're all ignorant, right? So, I try not to be too hard on them, but if they refuse to listen, then you've got to really you've got to up your game a little bit. You got to say, look, this is what works. Go buy your doctor a copy of Proteinaholic and dare them to read it.
Yeah.
Buy you'd be amazed at how many of them actually will do it.
Yeah.
They don't
want to learn, do they? They just don't know. And I think the shame of it is to pass a comment on something that they don't absolutely know as a fact.
Right.
Normally with a professional, if you're asked a question and you don't actually know the answer, usually one would hope for, I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me find out for you and I'll get back to you. And I know that's a little bit difficult in a 10-minute doctor's consultation with the patients coming in every 10 minutes in a full clinic, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, it would be nice to think that they would just not poo-poo it as a non-factual load of nonsense, Sandy is saying, Dr. Gilmore, I've not eaten and felt so good since starting plant-based. So she hasn't
Wonderful.
felt so good since she started plant-based. That's fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's
Love
just wonderful. Okay. Never taken a vitamin tablet in my life. Take a vitamin, Jackie. It's really good for you because you can't guarantee it's in the foods that you're eating.
Let me tell you something about vitamins too. And this is important. When I was a young physician, I did the same thing that Dr. Mike did. I told everybody they didn't need multivitamins, okay? Because that's what I was taught in medical school. And I just watched one of his videos, and I never watch these videos, but I heard somebody say, you should watch what Dr. Mike says about videos. So I look about vitamins. And he doesn't have the first clue how important multivitamins and certain vitamins are, because he's advising everybody that they're wasting their money. And that's exactly what I used to do, too, before I got a little bit older and wiser and realized such a high percentage of my patients had vitamin deficiencies that I couldn't do anything but advise everybody to take a multivitamin to help combat that. And at some point in his life, he will reverse what he's saying now about multivitamins. But until he gets there, he's going to toe the party line. Yeah. And that's what the party line is. And the same thing can be said about health and nutrition. He probably thinks, and I don't know, but I would guess he would be just appalled at a vegan diet. I think that he would think that it would be a mistake and that there would be vitamin deficiencies and there would be protein deficiencies and how important it is to drink milk for strong bones. Because he hasn't, it's not that he probably doesn't mean well, he's just ignorant. He just doesn't know. He hasn't been dealing with these issues for the years and the years and the years that I have and many other physicians have. He's very young. He's very charismatic. He's very likable, and that's fine. But what he's doing is he's spreading falsehoods. Yeah. And so we've got to understand that it's an uphill battle until we reach some kind of critical mass at some point where more and more people are going to begin to really jump on board and say, hey, you know, there is more to this than we're being told, and there's more to it than the doctors know, and be able to say so without sounding like you're some kind of quack, you know, without, you know, feeling like you're really weird by doing it. And so, you know,
we will get there because there's more and more publication, more and more going on about plant-based and veganuary, and the increase in the amount of people going vegan, increase in people going raw and plant-based. Jackie's asking about vitamins. Right, Jackie, go to Holland & Barrett and tell them what your budget for a multivitamin is and ask them which the best one is to take, which is the most potent and best quality for your budget. They're really good in Holland & Barrett. They know, the people in there know their stuff. So that's what I suggest you do about knowing which multivitamin to take. And with regard to, I know you don't get out so much, and I know your husband does a lot of the shopping, but I know your husband loves you to pieces and is an absolute, complete and utter support of you. So why don't you give him a little shopping list of things that you would like him to get for you that you can have whilst he's eating his meat? That's where I would start, sweetheart. You know, just start there.
Men will eat what's prepared. We're basically very lazy creatures, and if we come home and there's a delicious hot meal, we won't question what's in it. We'll just eat it. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
That's true. I think her husband does a lot of the cooking, though.
Okay. Well, so that might change things a little bit. So
yeah, but yeah, you know, I'm sure if you know, it literally. Just look up recipes of, you know, like meat-free this, meat-free that. Just Google it. And a lot of the, you know, the recipes don't have anything complicated in, nothing that you can't get. So, you know, just give it a go. Just even if you just try it for a week, you will feel a difference. You absolutely will. Right, hang on a second. That's what I do. Preach it and teach it. Beverly is going, yahoo, Dr. Gilmore. That's what I do. Loads of thumbs up. Preach it and teach it. And loads of hearts. Jackie is asking you, can I ask Dr. Gilmore, does chemo change the structure of your bones or do damage to your organs?
Yes, it absolutely can. It can. Your bones are living organisms, just like other organ systems. And so, yes, chemotherapy can cause damage to bones. It can definitely cause damage to other tissue systems and organs. So the answer is yes, yes, yes. And nutrition in almost any coordinated cancer program, you're going to have nutritionists that are going to help and explain how important nutrition and what you eat is. And almost always they'll get you on a very low inflammatory, most of them I believe are very high plant-based, if not completely plant-based diet program. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the answer is yes. Chemotherapy is basically you're putting a toxin in your body that's designed to kill cancer, but it kills everything.
Yeah.
It just kills more cancer cells than non-cancer cells.
Yeah, so it does damage to healthy tissue as well as diseased tissue, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sandy's going to watch it tonight. It was called What the Health, and it is on YouTube. And when this is uploaded, I will stick a link in the description of this for it. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
There's another great one. If you haven't seen it, it's called Cowspiracy. Instead of conspiracy, Cowspiracy.
Cowspiracy.
It's a great movie. It's a great documentary, and it talks about not just the conspiracy to get us eating more animal products, but the whole contribution that animal products have to supposedly global warming, if you believe in that. Conspiracy is a fabulous movie and extremely interesting, and it really explains about who's in control of what and how decisions are made as to what you should be eating on a daily basis.
Cowspiracy. Cowspiracy. I'm putting that up. What was the other one that you said as well? The biggest takeaway from that was, because it literally blew my mind. I'm going to watch it with Wink. I'm not sure when we're going to watch it because, I'll have to get him at the right time. But I think he'll find it really interesting because it's a really well put together documentary. Right, Laurie is back saying it's the greater tuberosity of the top of the humerus.
Oh, the humerus. Okay, because we have tuberosities in different areas. Well, I mean, basically, that's like an avulsion fracture. So tendons and muscle tissue has been pulled away from the bone. So is she she's apparently, my guess is she's either in a splint of some kind, she's been casted, or she's had surgery, because that's an avulsion fracture. Sometimes they can be partial in nature and not a complete avulsion, and they'll put them in slings.
I'm back. Sorry about the break in streaming, folks. Jackie is saying he puts lots of veg in his cooking. Excellent. Just maybe he can cook yours without some meat in it. Maybe put some beans in it instead, Jackie. Give it a whirl, honestly. I know you're going to feel better than you do. And I know you're really positive with your aches and pains and the different things that you have, sweetheart. But you could feel better. And I think your husband would be just delighted. So give it a whirl. Jackie is saying, literally, the week I finished my chemo, I was diagnosed with arthritis, and within the year, it was in every joint, neck and back. That was 24 years ago. Now I'm totally broken, babes. She is in an awful lot of pain a lot of times, sweetheart.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is awful. I'm so sorry for you.
She should be on turmeric, and she should be eating lots of tomatoes, and she should be eating lots of peppers. I would recommend a high biotin product.
What's got
joint support products that are out there? Glucosamine can be helpful. If she's still eating animal products, then of course we would recommend a fish oil or krill oil. But she shouldn't be eating animal products because we don't want to increase our omega-6s, right? We want higher ratio of 3s to 6s. So we would want to.
Oh, I've lost your sound. Oh,
up to you and say, you just look so young. Why do you look younger? Every time I see people every 3 months and they keep telling me I look like I've lost more weight and I'm younger. I'm the same weight I've been for 6 months now. I haven't lost any more weight. Why do you look so much younger? It's because I continue to eat the right stuff, and I'm looking better. It's actually, my skin continues to improve.
It is, because don't all the cells in your body themselves in a 6-week rotation?
So certain cells do, like in the digestive system and the skin, it exfoliates, right? But the neurons, the nerves don't, of course, they don't. Your bone replaces itself about every 7 to 10 years. All of your bone replaces itself.
There you go. So if you eat the right foods, and you eat like turmeric and tomatoes and pepper, build themselves based on the fuel that you put in your body. So if you change the fuel you put in your body, that's going to help with building healthier cells, then you're going to see a difference. You just are going to see a difference. Laurie is Laurie is saying she hasn't had surgeries or a sling, just lots of pain. So she's not in a sling or anything.
So it's just a partial avulsion then, is my guess. It's not a complete avulsion, because if it was a complete avulsion, it would never heal. So it's a partial avulsion, because you have tendons that insert onto the greater tuberosity of the humerus. So she's just, what they're telling her is basically this is going to heal in time. So, take the analgesics if they've given her analgesia, probably ibuprofen, and, for discomfort. But natural anti-inflammatories can be extremely helpful too, just like we talked about.
Yeah. And a big inflammatory is animal-based products. Lynn is saying, Dr. Gilmore, can the damage caused by a meat and dairy diet be reversed once you are on plant-based?
It takes time, but the answer is yes. And if you're talking about autoimmune damage, sometimes that's not complete. Sometimes it's not 100%, but we see significant improvement in those areas. If you want to talk about arteriosclerosis, which is the deposition of fats and cholesterol and calcium into the intimal section of the artery system, right, which is the middle part, that can be reversed, and it depends on the extent of the disease as to how long it will take to reverse it. If you've been eating a high animal-based product diet for 20 years, it may take 5 years for that to be completely reversed. Now, there is evidence out there of coronary atherosclerosis being reversed, and we see an opening of the arteries around the heart with a plant-based diet in a matter of months to years. So everybody's a little bit different, and it also depends on the age and the how old is the disease as to how quickly that will happen. But the answer is yes, you will get healing. Maybe not complete healing, but maybe enough healing where you feel like you're not sick anymore. Yeah. Those who have diabetes, we see the diabetics get better in somewhere between usually 12 to 14 weeks. Type 2 diabetes, not type 1. Yeah. And we're seeing lots of people now that are getting cured of their type 2 diabetes in about 12 to 14 week period if they commit wholly to a whole food plant-based diet and they don't need any animal products. And we're seeing people that are on as many as 3 to 4 medications for type 2 diabetes coming off all of their medicines, their insulin resistance completely reversing, and them being completely euglycemic or normally handling sugars in their body again. Yeah. So that we see. And so there's the heart disease and vascular disease. So reduction in risk of heart attack, stroke, and blood clots because you're fixing your vascular system. Yeah. We're fixing our diabetes, and we're reducing our risk or reversing autoimmune disorders, everything from rheumatoid arthritis to lupus to psoriatic arthritis to scleroderma to Sjogren's disease and there are lots of mixed connective tissue disorders. There's fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune disease. There's hidradenitis suppurativa, which is an autoimmune disease. Almost all of these people that are coming into my office that have these problems, these are meat eaters. These people are eating animal products. And if they will listen to me and they'll start to reduce or cut out their animal products, we get as much or even more response to that than they're going to get from their medications that are designed to do that all have side effects. And we know that that's true. So
They
So
all
yes,
do.
the answer is yes, absolutely. You can expect to get healthier, but as to how long depends on what your problem is and how long you've had it.
Yeah. But totally, I mean, the whole building up of, the arteries, they talk about that. They talk about that in What the Health. There's a section on that. And Jackie, there is a woman there who literally, I think she's 48 and she can't even move around her house. She's got like a Zimmer frame or a walker. And she goes plant-based. You won't believe the transformation in her. Absolutely amazing. And there's a woman that has to walk around with oxygen. She can't breathe.
Can we talk about two other movies?
Yeah.
I want to talk about two. There's two other movies that I think are very interesting. One of them is called Super Size Me. It was one of the original movies that were done. And basically it's about a fella who used to be on a vegan diet. And his girlfriend used to make his vegan diet. But he decides to start going through fast food restaurants, and every time they ask him if he'd like to supersize it, say yes. So he does before and after lipids and how he feels. Basically, his whole life goes to hell. Even his sex life goes to hell. And she can't wait to get him off of this whole project so she can get him back on a whole food plant-based diet, which is what she used to feed him.
Yeah.
Now, that tells you something right there.
Yeah.
And
it was just 1 month. He just did it for 30 days.
Yeah, 30 days. His
doctor
horrible.
Literally was begging him near the
Whatever
end of the
you're
30
doing,
days
please
to
stop. Yes. Stop it.
He
This
was
is
like
terrible.
gravely worried about him.
Yes. Right. Okay, and the other movie, and you have to watch this movie with a grain of salt, and it's called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and it's about an Australian fella who comes to the United States, and he does this tour across the country, and he juices. So basically, he does a form of a whole food plant-based diet, okay? All he's doing is he's got a juicer rigged up in the back of a hatchback vehicle, and he's driving across the country, and all he's doing is buying fresh fruits and vegetables from these little stands and running them through his juicer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he heals himself of all kinds of medical problems, and basically that's the story of the movie. But the real story is you don't have to have a juicer to do this. All you have to do is just stop eating the animal products and you get the same effect. So if you want to know how quickly you can get healed from medical problems like he had, watch the movie. But don't do juicing because you're losing too much of the important dietary fiber. It's too wasteful. There's no sense in that. Eat the whole fruit. Eat the whole vegetable. But basically the idea is still the same, and it works because he could juice burgers too, right? I mean, let's think about it. He could shove hamburgers through that thing as well, and he doesn't do that. So the real benefit is the fact that it's a plant-based diet, okay?
Yeah.
Fruits and vegetables-based diet. So there's two other movies. If you really want to get into the documentaries, Super Size Me and Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Cowspiracy you'll love. Diet Fiction is awesome. Forks Over Knives is one of the first ones I watched. And then the books, of course, The Proteinaholic, the How to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Esselstyn, and then, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the greatest epidemiological study done in the history of the world, upon which every one of these movies and every one of these books will quote, is called the China Study.
It is. And guess
Called
who
the China
quoted
Study,
that on
boys
my
and
food
girls.
video?
And let me
Alicia.
tell you why you want to read the China Study, because all of you are old enough and grown up enough in veganism now to do this. Because the China Study research predates all the GMO changes. So you have all these people out there that are saying, oh, the stuff's bad for you now because of all the chemicals and the GMO. Nonsense. The studies proved our conclusions long before all these pesticides were introduced into the food, and they were done in an area that didn't have the pesticides. It is the protein and fat that comes from the animals that causes the problem. It is not what's being added. It's not what happens in the feedlot. Yes, that contributes, but that's not the problem. That's just a little piece of the problem, okay? That's why the China study is the sentinel study. We could never repeat that study because now the food system is so tainted that you could never redo that study. But because it was done and the research is incontrovertible, even those that have tried to debunk some of the research have been laughed to scorn, because we're talking about hundreds and tens and twenties and hundreds of thousands of people. Their diets were interviewed and examined, and they had an army of Chinese government that got involved in all of this, and it was all done through a partnership with American and Chinese scientists, done on a homogeneous genetic group of people, Chinese people that have very similar genetics throughout their country. And the only thing that was different, it was the most amazing control group ever. The only thing that was different was what they ate. And yet, in some areas, their incidence of bladder cancer would be 200 times higher than other areas because they ate more animal products than the other ones. I mean, it's amazing, the China study. So if you want to get into the stuff that's out there, it's fantastic. Read it. But understand it's like a branch, like a tree. And at the trunk of that tree is the China study. Yeah. And then everything else comes off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of people are saying thank you. Lynn is saying, I have giant cell arthritis and the symptoms seem to be reduced. That's fantastic. This is literally proof of what we're saying. Anyone
I believe that's giant cell arteritis, but that's okay.
Arteritis. Yes, you're right. She spelt it right. My brain has read it wrong. Right. Sorry.
Giant cell arteritis, also known as temporal. It can cause blindness if it's not treated.
Wow. So yeah, that is another benefit. Robin is saying whole food plant-based is nature's medicine. It is. The food you eat is either your greatest medicine or your most awful poison. You know, it is. It's either poison or it's medicine. So plant-based whole food is medicine. Refined, processed and meat products are the poison that is literally changing the health of swathes and swathes of nations and country. You're upside down now, Jack. Living up the ceiling. I've written those books. Oh dear, that's okay, right. You're welcome, Madge. I'll send that to you later. Jackie's loving the positive stories. Bunny, hi babes, we're almost done, but lovely for you to join us. It's been really exciting. Go and watch the replay.
I'm upside down right now because I'm turning conventional wisdom upside down.
There you go. Just cut out the middle animal to get the goodness from the plants. It makes sense when you think about it. Exactly. We used to eat the flesh of animals that they built by eating plants. All the animals we eat are plant eaters. They
snuck up on other cows and killed them and ate them in the middle of the night. That's where cows get their protein. Come on, it's true.
Absolutely, you see, absolutely. Beverly is saying once again that she is now not a diabetic. She had type 2 diabetes for 4 years, and although her doctor, well, he is a doctor, shook his head and rolled his eyes when it went, he hadn't managed to get rid of her diabetes in 4 years. 11 weeks, wasn't it? 11 or 12 weeks you went from being a type 2 diabetic to literally being cured. You cured yourself by eating the right foods and eliminating the bad foods, which is just amazing. It's just literally amazing. Lots of people are saying hi to Bonnie. Hi, Carol, sweetheart. We are absolutely fantastic. Dr. G just made me go dizzy. That's what happens when we do this. You all get seasick, don't you? Sorry. Right now, Bonnie's going to watch the replay, but staying till then. So just to recap, okay, let's give you a little bit of homework so that you've got something that you can ask us about, something that you can say, oh my goodness me, this penny dropped, this just like suddenly made so much sense to me, is everybody, if you haven't watched it, watch the I've forgotten what it's called now. What the Health. Okay, I've actually written some. I'm gonna go back and in fact I'm gonna need to take a photograph because I'll never find it again in the live chat. I actually put down the other foods. So one was Super Size Me. I've done the thing. I've done la 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 with my fingers, and I've whizzed up to the top of the chat. Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. Super Size Me. I'm going to put all the links in this when it's up. Photograph Susan. Press the right icon. There's a good girl. Where it is. Right, there's that one. The China study, actually, Alicia mentioned that in the video. The video for making nut milks. She mentioned that book straight away, like straight out. And we've got Cowspiracy. Yeah, so I'm going to mention all of those for you in the description. Just all of you guys that are on, if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do, because it means more people will find it. And Jack and I will get together. Can we get together sometime this week, even if it's just like 20 minutes, and crack out some of these?
We can try. I've just got so many things happening. It's not for lack of desire. It's just my schedule is so all over the place. But
okay.
Email me, when you've got times, and I'll try. I even right now I'm sitting in the dark. So
yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, I think that's an hour and a half now. So I would like to thank you all for coming on, for all the questions and your contribution, because without you being on here and without your questions, we'll just be sitting here just going, hi everyone. And this, I hope you've learnt loads tonight. And, if your doctor shakes his head at you, Dr. Gilmore gave you some great ammunition. Yes, it isn't extreme, but if they think it's extreme, so is diabetes, so is heart disease, so is cancer, so is autoimmune disease, and they are rife. They're pandemic almost level. So, absolutely. I've just found another one of the movies and the comments, taking a picture of that. You've got some ammunition, you've got something to come back at it, or, have you read the China study, Doctor? Thanks for the thumbs up, those of you who are going in and giving it a thumbs up. It does help. And I know you all would like to help more lovelies to feel better, just like you guys do. So, hi, Chris. Yeah, well, Dr. Gilmore isn't actually saying anything at the moment. So that's why you can't hear him at the moment. He's not on his channel tonight. It's just broadcasting on. You're just pretending that you've frozen, haven't you? He's so naughty. You're so naughty, Jack. I can see your finger moving just slightly. Right, my lovelies, lots of love to you. I will see you on Thursday at midnight UK time. That's 6 p.m. Texas time. Get it in your diaries. Hi, Milk Bar Kid. Sorry, we're just going now. Miso. Miso is a fermented soybean product. It's used to make miso soup. It's very good to add to things. I added it to my cheese for vegan diets. It gives a lovely salty kind of really. I've been drinking it hot these last 2 days. It's like really delicious. But what they do with miso after they've cooked it is they add back in a probiotic. So it is got probiotic qualities to it as well. Yeah, Bonnie, it's a soybean paste. All right then, lots of love to you, and I will see you on Thursday. And I shall be doing some YouTube videos for you as well. I've got some stuff to talk to you about, motivation and stuff like that. So I'm going to be doing that. So it probably won't be a live because I'll never get the words out with you all saying hello to me and waving at me and blowing me kisses and stuff like that. Lynn, if it's a very quick question for Dr. G, come in the house and...
Yep, we're overdue. All
right, yeah, we're overdue. All right then, Lynn, send me, Lynn, send it to me on
No, I'll do
Messenger.
it. Let's do it.
Oh, you'll do it. Okay, quick with it.
Do it. I'm
Send
not
your
gonna say no.
question,
Go.
Lynn. Send your question. Chris is going, come in the house. Oh, she's come in the house and now she can hear us. Excellent. So that was right. Lynn, is it safe to use soya when you have thyroid disease?
Yes.
There you go. Yes is the answer to that. And what did I hear was good for thyroid? Yeah, What the Health. They talk about the thyroid in that as well. Plant-based thyroid. Who knew it? Right. Bye. I'm going to click the going off live. Fantastic. Lots of, yeah, we got it, Lynn. Thanks. Hope you got the answer. You're 30 seconds behind us. All right, then. Lots of love. See you soon. Mwah. There we go. So